Back in 1979, Stephen King, under the guise of pen name Richard Bachman, published The Long Walk, a Vietnam War allegory. Like most of Bachman's books, it likely would have eluded notice if King hadn't been outed as Bachman in 1985. But he was, and it was, and 40 years after that, the book has been adapted for the screen by writer J.T. Mollner and director Francis Lawrence. It's been a, pardon the pun, long walk to get it to theaters, but now that it's arrived, the story King crafted all those decades ago feels more pressing and timely than ever. Taking place an indeterminate year in the future, the titular contest is the classic teen death game seen in Battle Royale, or more to the point, The Hunger Games. Lawrence has directed every cinematic iteration of The Hunger Games since Catching Fire. But unlike the bombast of Panem, The Long Walk of the title is empty and bleak, taking place in America that might as well be dead as the teens walking the road will soon be. The taut tale, which is presented to the film over an unrelenting 108 minutes, including credits, follows 50 boys as they walk the empty roads of America in a contest to win unimaginable riches and one wish. The wish isn't magical or fantastical a la some of King's other tales, but instead an extra little something that proves to be at first a fun what if for the teens as they walk, and later a most pressing plot point. Why walk at all? Every character has their own reasons, but the overall goal, according to the Gruff Major, played by Mark Hamill, is that the televised contest increases the GDP of America every year after it's played. It's never said aloud, but the implication is clear. They can make America great again. And on that, it's a pretty pointed casting to have noted online Trump critic Hamill in the villain role. He doesn't play the current president beat for beat, but the rhetoric coming from Mollner's script through the mouthpiece of the Major clearly echoes the idea that America's best days are ahead of it, despite all visual evidence to the contrary. Oh, and sorry, I forgot to mention, only one of the kids makes it out alive. The goal of the contest is simple: to walk about 3 miles per hour, changed from 4 miles per hour in the book, drop below the speed limit one time, you get a warning. The second time, and you get a second warning. You can eliminate a warning by staying at speed over an hour to get back down to 0, but if you hit that third warning, you're out. And out means you're shot in the head by one of the soldiers following the walkers throughout the contest. With his Hunger Games pedigree, Lawrence feels like he should be bringing a been there, done that sense to the movie, but The Long Walk is a revelation. Nastier and a more nihilistic cousin to Hunger Games that strips the bombast, color, and action movie pedigree from that series and brings it down to basics. Nearly every on-screen death is shown through a steady, locked-off camera. It's bloody and it's brutal. We're forced to watch. And none of the deaths are fun or triumphant. The kids walk, they die, that's it. There's also none of the spectacle of the Hunger Games present here, as with a few exceptions, the action is firmly locked on the contestants as they walk. Lawrence keeps us with them, usually filmed in close-ups and medium shots, putting the performances front and center. And the performances are spectacular. Cooper Hoffman, the son of the late Philip Seymour Hoffman, stars as Ray Garrett, who is competing for his home state and leaving his terrified mother, played by Judy Greer, behind. He has very personal reasons for competing in The Long Walk, and while Hoffman has always been good in his other film roles, here, based on plot alone, seems like he's dealing with the untimely passing of his own father. It's a raw, personal performance that follows Garrett as he, like the rest of the contestants, starts to physically and mentally fall apart the longer the walk goes on. Keeping Ray going, and the star-making turn in the movie, is David Jonsson as Peter McVries. Jonsson has always been fantastic, from his standout turn as the synth Andy in Alien Romulus, the romantic lead in the underrated Rye Lane, or his kinda thankless role on HBO's Industry. But here, Jonsson shines as the cheerleader of the group and instant best friend of Ray. What Jonsson does is complicated because McVries is keeping the energy of the group up, but you can see his own energy flagging at times, peeking through while he's cheering up the gang. It's always hard to say what a breakthrough role will be based on the whims of the entertainment industry, but Jonsson is a standout here that could easily throw him into dark horse Oscar contention. The rest of the cast acquits themselves ably as well, though some roles boil down to kid in glasses or silent strong dude. Garrett Wareing as Stebbins and Charlie Plummer as Gary Barkovich stand out as a clipped-off soldier type and an unhinged weirdo, respectively, both semi-antagonists to our main characters, and Ben Wang, recently the new Karate Kid, falls weirdly into the Data and Goonies role, but part of that is, like the rest, watching him sadly fall apart as things go. But the focus of the film isn't good guys and bad guys necessarily, except for the broad, sometimes distracting portrayal of the Major, the movie's one weak point. It's more about the conversation between these kids and watching them go from hopeful to beaten down sludge and or dead. The broader theme mentioned above that Lawrence and Mollner are dealing with still works as referencing the Vietnam War, war. Teen boys entering a lottery to fight for America, ending up dead for seemingly no reason in a battle that never ends. But it's clear that The Long Walk is as much about the 1970s as it is about today. It's hard not to see a totalitarian military government watching poor people die for them in an America that's already fallen from grace and think about where we are in the US in 2025. Lawrence says as much in a note about the film sent to critics, stating, quote, "My goal with this film is to honor what makes King's novel such a powerful experience. The unforgettable characters, the relentless pace, and the uncomfortable questions it asks about who we are and what we value. I want audiences to leave the theater thinking not just about what they've seen, but about the world they're part of. While we may not have a long walk in the United States right now, and it certainly felt like a faraway fantasy in the 1970s, it's the sort of thing that now feels only 1 or 2 steps off. The Long Walk was a criticism of what was happening in the US back when King wrote it. Now, thanks to Lawrence and Mollner's movie, it's a pressing, harrowing alarm bell. Here's hoping we veer off and start walking in the right direction." The Long Walk hits theaters on September 12th, 2025. Let us know what you're looking forward to in the movie in the comments below.